Way it is a Monday afternoon. Every Monday we are live at 5, and by way I mean me and pharmacist Ben Fuchs answering your health questions, making you everybody just a little bit healthier, a little bit happier, a little bit smarter, all of that all wrapped into one action-packed hour that we call the Mineral Way. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, are you there?
I am here. Good to talk to you, Dave.
Good to talk to you, Ben.
Last week I got thrown for a loop here. I was ripping in on GLP-1s, and then our friend called up and said, but I love these drugs. Yeah. They're so good for me. Yeah. They're saving my life. I lost so much weight, and so I said, what the heck, man? I don't understand. How can people not understand that you can't take a drug and not have some kind of long-term toxicity with it? And sure enough, as I did the research on it, there's especially, as it turns out, GLP-1 issues with old folks.
Oh, no.
Old folks. Want to talk about that, or should we talk about
what category? Good news. What qualifies as old? Like somebody
over
50?
65. No, over 65, but yeah, probably over 50. That would make you old, wouldn't it?
Well, Ben, I mean, that's not nice.
No, but I'm way old.
Okay.
Way old. This is from Medscape.
Well, tell me more.
Older patients have specific risks for GLP-1 use. Now, just to remind everybody, GLP-1s are drugs that slow down the release of food, keep you or help improve satiety, satisfaction, eat as much food. And for folks who can't control their intake of food and have diabetes, obviously that could be a problem. And, GLP-1s, as our friend, can I say who he is?
Sure.
Just call our friend, MZ. Hi, MZ. I think MZ might be listening. He raised some good points. He said, my blood pressure's down. Or, I don't know if he said blood pressure. He said, my blood sugar's down. He said, I'm losing weight. He said, even his doctor wants to try it because it seems so successful. But what we don't realize is there's long-term issues. And particularly in this particular case, this is from Medscape, high risk. This is for folks over age 65. Sarcopenia. You know what that is? Sarcopenia.
Something with the bones?
Yep. Very good. Muscles, actually, but that's very good.
Okay,
skeletal muscle.
I tried.
That's pretty darn good, though. Right. Sarcopenia, whenever you hear penia, and don't make any jokes here, okay? It means little. Okay. I know what you're thinking.
No, I'm not thinking that, Ben. I'm not thinking
there.
that. Yeah, I'm not.
It's Latin.
Okay.
Penia means little. So whenever you hear sarcopenia, osteopenia, that kind of thing, it means low, little or low. Sarcopenia is an age-related progressive loss of skeletal. I'm reading right here from Medscape. Sarcopenia is an age-related progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength that accelerates after age 65, increasing a patient's risk for frailty, falls, disability, and functional decline. GLP-1 agonists, that's those drugs, Wegovy and Ozempic and such, exacerbate sarcopenia by promoting lean mass loss, along with fat mass loss during weight reduction. This is particularly concerning in rapid weight loss scenarios, as it may push an already vulnerable population into frailty and increase fall risk. Do you know the number one risk for older folks for their demise is falls, hip fractures, and such?
Oh yeah, I believe that totally.
It's a serious problem.
Yeah.
When you get older, that's something that young folks, and I know, I'm kind of old actually, but relatively young, and people in their 40s and 50s and 60s, we don't think about this, but in 20 years, we're going to have a hard time walking if we continue down the road we're on. Yeah, you might be healthy now, and you may say it doesn't really matter what I eat, or it doesn't matter if I supplement, and I don't necessarily have to exercise, I don't have to worry about things. But in 20 years, it's going to be hard to walk, and in 25 years, it's going to be hard to get out of bed and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. These are real issues for people in their 80s and 90s. Do you ever think about this, Dave?
Yeah, I do, actually. It's I get worried about old folks. It's one of the reasons why when young people fall, we think it's funny. Look at you fell. But when they're old, it's not funny anymore.
No, it's life-threatening.
Yeah, totally.
Imagine people who are living by themselves, for example, and use a walker, right? Mm-hmm. And you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. You can't find your walker. And I know this for a fact because my mom is in this situation. Mm-hmm. And she has an aide that lives with her. But, you don't want to be in that kind of position. And when you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s, that's the time to pay attention to these things. And by the way, this is one of the reasons why muscle mass is so important. Building muscle, going to the gym, lifting weights is so important for older folks. When we think of weightlifting and protein supplements and creatine supplements and such, we think of, young folks and going out and looking good, or maybe athletes. But really, when you're in your 50s and 60s and even 70s, that's the time to really focus on building muscle mass. And actually, that's when it's hard to build muscle mass. It really takes a lot to build muscle mass in your 60s and 70s. And if you're on a GLP-1 agonist, even if it lowers your blood sugar and it looks like you're losing weight, in the long term, you're running risks of sarcopenia. But there's more. In addition to sarcopenia, age-related progressive loss of muscle mass, bone loss, continuing from Medscape. GLP-1s can lead to GLP-1 agonists can lead to an increased risk for fractures. Rapid weight loss induces mechanical loading on bone, decreasing the forces that stimulate bone formation. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You have less of a load on the skeletal system when you have less weight, and that means you'll have less forces available to build bone. It disrupts mineral homeostasis. That means the way minerals are deposited, decreases bone mineral density. Older patients with diabetes treated with GLP-1 agonists showed a 12% increased fracture risk compared to those treated with other diabetes medications. Moreover, the FDA labeling for Wegovy, which is one of the biggies, documents hip fracture rates of 1% versus 0.2% with placebo, 5 times more fracture rates. This is particularly important for postmenopausal women who already face elevated baseline osteoporosis risks. But there's more. Dehydration, acute kidney injury, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, which are all common side effects of GLP-1s, reduced fluid intake and increased fluid loss, elderly patients, particularly those with reduced kidney function. Diabetics typically have reduced kidney function, or poor hydration habits are at higher risk for severe dehydration, even from mild GI symptoms. And then moderate risks, GI side effects, hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, neurological changes, brain health changes. I mean, the point is here, I can go on, list all these problems, but the point is there's no drug that you can take that is not going to, in the long run, have a negative effect on your body, even if it's subtle. But usually, especially if we're older, it's not going to be subtle. On the other hand, chromium, vanadium, thiamine, your sweeties, your healthy blood sugar pack, EFAs, more fiber, more protein, all of these are great, healthy, healthful, no side effect strategies that you can use to normally lose weight. We have this kind of mentality in our culture. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to live my life whatever I want. I'll just take a drug to take care of it. And so I like history. I'm fascinated with history. And I always think of, when I hear this kind of idea, oh, don't worry about it, we got a drug for that kind of thing, I always think of in the old days when the priests would say, don't worry about your life, we'll take care of things. You just give us half your income and your house when you die, and we'll talk to God for you. You know what I'm talking about?
Does that work?
They said it did.
Wow. Jeez.
I don't know.
I gotta try that.
They said it worked. Here's another one. You want how about some good news?
Yeah, Ben, you're kind of bumming me out here, dude.
I got it. This is good news. You're going to love this one.
All
right. Where the heck is it? You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Moderate coffee and tea intake was linked to lower dementia risk and better cognitive performance.
Oh, good.
How do you like that? Moderate daily consumption of caffeinated coffee or tea was tied to reduced dementia risks. And, caffeine is a nootropic agent. Nootropics are therapeutic interventions that increase brain health or improve brain health. Still a drug. Caffeine is still a drug, and you're still going to run into issues. It's not anywhere near as toxic as a prescription drug. And when you're doing it in coffee, it's not pure caffeine. But there are definitely some cognitive health benefits to drinking a little bit of coffee. Even better, though, is green tea. You ever drink green tea, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
That stuff is delicious. Doesn't have quite the caffeine that coffee has. In fact, it probably has about a quarter of the caffeine or so that a cup of coffee has. but it has antioxidants in it, and you can actually, being in the skin business, I know this, you can actually use it to improve skin health as well as neurological health and brain health. So green tea is the way to go. It's not all bad news when it comes to Medscape and medical information here. And I was going to read one more, if that's okay.
Sure,
Do you have any calls or anything?
Yeah, we got some text messages here that we can get to.
Let me just read this one real quick. This is kind of interesting, I thought. Drugs can reshape your patient's gut. This is for doctors. Drugs can reshape your patient's gut sometimes for years. The medications you prescribe, again, this is for doctors, may leave lasting fingerprints on the trillions of microbes in your patient's guts, reshaping their ecosystems in ways that scientists are just now beginning to understand. When Stanford University researchers mapped the different ways drugs feed or starve certain bacterial species, they found many drugs, including benzodiazepines like Valium or Xanax, those are benzodiazepines, as well as the topical antifungals, that's topical antifungals that you put on your skin, it doesn't even have to be in your body, can seriously disrupt the gut microbiome. Their work spanned roughly 700 drugs, and 140 of them had notable microbiome effects. A takeaway, a drugs class has little to do with its impact on the gut. And again, this highlights the idea that you can't just take a drug and not expect to have some kind of issue associated with it. And keep in mind, the disruption of the gut microbiome is going to itself have a domino effect on toxicity in the blood, which can lead to or exacerbate existing autoimmune problems, for example, cardiovascular health problems, degenerative joint problems, and even mental health or cognitive problems. And those, for example, just take cognitive problems, are not going to be associated with the drugs you're taking because they're secondary to disruptions in the gut microbiome. And nobody's going to see that, and it's not going to show up as on the side effect profile. And again, this just highlights the idea that the mentality that we have, that we can stay on a drug chronically, remember, I've been studying medicine for 40 years, is fallacious. It doesn't work. And the reason we're bombarded, saturated with information about pharmacology and pharmacotherapy from the medical model is because there's so much money to be made in it. And on top of that, the reason why you see these commercials ad nauseum on the news, right? And I haven't watched the news in a long time, but I remember that's really where you see these drug commercials is when you watch the news. Are you a news guy? Do you watch? Well,
yes,
you're a news guy. Yeah. Do you notice how when you watch the news that they're the drug commercials
all the time? All the time.
Why do you think the drug companies like putting their commercials on during the news?
Because old people watch it.
Well, that's a very good point. Well, that's one very important reason. But you know what else?
What?
If they buy the news, which is essentially what they're doing when you're a sponsor, they sponsor the news. They essentially buy the news. What do you think the news is going to be about? How great your drugs are. Right? It's a sneaky little trick.
Sneaky.
Right? It's a sneaky little trick. Mm-hmm. So you get good PR from the news. And the news raves about the pharmacomedical model, raves about this latest drug and that drug, and 5 years ago when you know what was out there, you know.
Oh yeah.
Right? You never heard anything on the news about being careful. You never heard anything in the news about maybe this stuff isn't going to work so well, right? Because they bought the news. The news is bought and paid for.
You know what, Ben?
Yes.
You are a terrible seller of pharmaceuticals. I mean, now I know why you are not Kmart material.
That's why I got kicked out. Yes.
Pharmacists are supposed to sell drugs, and you're over here saying this kind of stuff, Ben. No wonder why you were not cut out for Kmart.
I know. I'm an outlier. It's hard being an outlier. You know, sometimes I wish I was just a normal person who bought into the party line. I'd have such an easier life. You know, I have friends who graduated with me 40 years ago in pharmacy school, and they're all retired now, and they're getting pensions. You know, and they're, going traveling around the world. They don't have to go out and promote anything or work or anything because they spent their 40 years selling drugs.
Wow.
Poisoning America, if I may say so.
Ben, our first text message, and by the way, if anybody wants to call, we are live. So we're live at 5 every Monday.
Yes.
During the replays, Ben, I see the phones ringing off the hook. They're calling during the wrong time.
Oh.
You need to call at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We are live at that time. So we are live at the moment. 479-1080, 218-5726 with your text messages, kscodave@gmail.com. Here is the first question, Ben. It basically asks about eczema. What can they do about eczema?
That is a great question.
Okay.
The reason I say it's a great question because these journals that I've been talking about, Medscape and MedPage and such, I get these dermatological newsletters all the time. Almost every letter contains something about a drug that could be used for eczema. And they're usually these UMAB drugs. Do you know what I'm talking about, these UMAB drugs? They call them biologics.
No.
It's a class of drugs that came out, maybe 25 years ago. They started to become popular. And they were developed in the late 1990s when we started to figure out the human genome. And these are drugs, they call them biologics to make them sound like they're natural drugs. They're nothing of the kind. They shoot down the immune system. And what I mean by that is the immune system works via molecules called cytokines. These cytokines are responsible for all of the inflammatory issues that are associated with immunity and the swelling and the pain. And when the immune system is activated, it's a good thing, but it can cause some discomfort. And if it happens all the time, it can cause a lot of discomfort. So about 25 years ago, they figured out how to actually shoot down, kill, destroy the molecules that are responsible for the inflammation. Okay. We say, that's a great thing.
That sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good, right? No, you need inflammation. Inflammation is protective. The reason it's uncomfortable is because you're constantly damaging the tissue or ingesting things that are problematic or poisonous for the body, so the body has to inflame to protect itself. Inflammation's protection. The problem isn't the inflammation, it's the chronic inflammation that never ends. You see the distinction I'm making here? Mm-hmm. Inflammation itself is not a problem. It's when it's chronic, it never ends. So what do you think accounts for chronic inflammation that never ends? Keeping in mind that inflammation is a defensive response. What is it that accounts for a chronic, day by day, hour by hour, defensive response that causes pain and irritation, etc.?
That would seem to me that there's something going on, some kind of chronic condition.
Yeah. Chronic attack. Yeah. So instead of stopping the attack, you get a drug that stops the defense. That's like if there's a war, you just tell the army to stand down and nobody will die. Well, you're going to be invaded. Somebody will take over your country, right? That's what the Defense Department, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force are about. They're about defending your country. And if an invading army comes into your country, you can just stand down and let them do whatever they want to do, and then there won't be a war. But you won't have a country either. Does that metaphor work?
A perfect analogy.
And so, and to compound the problem, to make matters worse, and this is like really sneaky. These biologics, which shoot down the immune system to prevent the inflammation, not only do they allow you to continue destroying your body, they're so ridiculously expensive, it's unconscionable. They're like $20,000 a month, some of these things. $20,000 a month? That's why you see them advertised all the time. These things cost pennies to make. Can you imagine turning pennies into $20,000? A penny into $20,000? This is the most profit-intensive industry on the planet. Is the drug company, is the pharmaceutical industry, and so you see them advertised over and over again. You say, "Oh, well, I'm not paying $20,000. My insurance company is." Oh, yeah. Well, that's why we have $4.6 trillion in healthcare costs, or one of the reasons why we have these ridiculous healthcare costs. Our healthcare in this country costs almost $5 trillion. That's not even, you can't even compute. That doesn't even make sense, right? What the heck is $5 trillion? It doesn't even, the mind doesn't even comprehend $5 trillion. But yet that shows up as expensive everything. And on top of all that, for that $5 trillion, you would think we would be the healthiest culture ever, right? No. We're fatter and we're sicker and we're have more cancer and heart disease and degenerative diseases and autoimmune diseases, and Alzheimer's rates are going through the roof, and obesity rates and diabetes rates. What are we getting for our $5 trillion? Right? We're getting sicker than ever. But we got more drugs, more surgeries, expensive surgeries, and all we're saying here is it doesn't work. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
It doesn't work. On the other hand, you have this healthy lifestyle strategy that involves exercise and breathing and sleeping and relaxing, eating less food, and most importantly, or just as importantly, getting on a good, solid nutritional supplement program that can be life-changing. Not just for a specific symptom or specific health challenge that you might be dealing with, but just for overall longevity, just for overall feeling good, joie de vivre, just for energy, just to be able to feel good about life. And it's as simple as a jug of Beyond Tangerine for, what, $60-$70 a month?
Mm-hmm.
Or a bottle of Cherry Mints or Mineral Toddy for $30 a month. How much is the mineral drink? $30 a month? $29 a month?
Probably 30 or 40, probably.
It's nothing. For the kind of energy, the kind of joie de vivre, the kind of rest, the kind of relaxation and reduction in symptoms and inflammatory symptoms, pain symptoms, whatever your disease symptoms are, not to mention prevention if you don't already have them. It's crazy to me that we can't spend $30 or $40 a month. It's absurd. And if you want to spend a little bit more, do the Beyond Tangerine. The life-changing nature of these nutritional supplements, the power of these nutritional supplements that we talk about on the Mineral Way every week, and that I talk about on our Zoom calls after I do the Mineral Way, benandbeccazoom.com if you want to get on there, or I'm sorry, dailywithDocZoom.com. It's so important. And even if you are on a drug, people, your supplements will make your drugs work better. Did you know that, Dave?
I did not know that, Ben.
Your supplements will make your drugs better. In other words, if you're on a beta blocker for your blood pressure, for heart disease, if you start taking the healthy blood sugar or healthy brain and heart pack, you can start to reduce your beta blocker dosage because your beta blocker will work that much better. That means less poison in your body. And I always get a kick out of people who say, but will that interfere with my medication? Will that supplement interfere with my medication? Like as if the supplement, the nutrition will interfere with your poison, right? That's what the thinking is here. Yeah, it'll interfere with the poison. It'll make the poison more effective. So you need less poison if you're on a prescription drug. That's an added benefit
I like that.
of a good nutritional.
I like it, Ben. Let's hold it right there. It's a good place to take a break. When we get back, we'll get to the phone calls, text messages, and emails. 831-479-1080, 218-5726, kscodave@gmail.com. We'll be right back.
Buster, is that you? You're moving like a pup on espresso. What gives?
Thanks. Just keeping up with my routine. Some light jogs, a few unauthorized trash inspections, and started taking Arthrodex.
Arthrodex? Is that one of those new chew toys with Bluetooth?
Nah, it's a supplement from Longevity. It's loaded with vitamins, minerals, amino acids, even stuff to keep my joints moving like they used to.
So, it's like a multivitamin, but it actually tastes good?
Exactly. My coat's shinier, I'm springier than ever, and the stairs don't mock me anymore.
Man, I've been getting winded halfway through Squirrel Patrol.
Tell your human to go to themineralway.com. That's where mine gets it. Easy peasy.
Done. I'm one biscuit away from entering the Zoomy Olympics.
Give your pets the nutritional support they deserve with Arthrodex from Longevity, because staying active, happy, and healthy never goes out of style. Available now at themineralway.com.
In 1513, explorer Ponce de Leon set out to find the fountain of youth. Years of searching, endless travel, and in the end, a complete waste of time. Turns out the fountain of youth doesn't exist. But if Ponce de Leon had access to the internet, he might have saved himself a lot of trouble, because he could have gone straight to themineralway.com. While the fountain of youth may be a myth, the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack might be the next best thing. It's designed to support bone health, joint comfort, and overall wellness, helping you keep the energy, mobility, and flexibility everyone is searching for. No legends, no wild goose chases, just a smart way to support the body you rely on every day. Navigate to themineralway.com to find what Ponce de Leon never could. That's themineralway.com.
From San Jose to Salinas, Red Hot News Talk, AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz.
You're listening to The Mineral Way live every Monday. We're live at 5. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs and I ready to take your questions, text messages, emails, whatever it is. We are ready to answer your phone calls or whatever other way I just said. Text, whatever. Faxes. Yeah. All that.
Faxes.
Faxes. Yeah. No faxes.
No faxes.
No faxes anymore.
When did that happen? I lost my. I had a CD a few years ago. I was traveling and I lost my CD player. one of those little CD. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Discman or something like that.
Discman, right? So I go to and I freaked out because I couldn't travel without my Discman. And so I go to the Best Buy or whatever store, and I say, hey, where can I get a Discman? And he goes, at a museum. And that's kind of like, there's no more fax machines? How old am I?
That's good, at a museum.
Do you remember when they came out? Weren't they like?
Oh, yeah.
That was like the most amazing thing.
It was amazing.
How does that happen even? I could not figure that out.
A museum. That's good. All right, you ready to get to some phone calls, Ben?
Yes.
All right, let's see what Mac has to say. He's calling from Salinas. You're in the air, Mac.
Hey, Mac.
Ben, you mentioned in the last couple weeks if you had a skin ulcer, a zinc product you could open the capsule, mix it with water, put it on as a zinc paste.
Capsule. No, it's Fucoid Z. It sounds like zinc.
Does Dave have any of that?
Not anymore. He had it. You can get it from Young Jeb. It's called Fucoid Z. It's a capsule. It's great for a lot of things, actually. But topically, if you break open a capsule, put it in water, put it in the ulcer, it will accelerate the healing. Now, typically, if you have an ulcer that isn't healing, though, that's a sign of something, usually diabetes or some kind of blood sugar problem. So you might want to address it on that level. But topically, you can get some relief by breaking open a Fucoid Z capsule.
Fucoid Z.
Fucoid Z. Fucoid. And then the letter Z for zebra.
I'm going to pick some up and...
it's good for a lot of things,
too. Can I ask you a question?
No, absolutely not. I said no. No,
talk to the doc.
You didn't even care. You're going to ask me anyway.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm old.
I'm kidding you. I'm joking, Max. Go
ahead. Do you talk to the doc at all on here's the deal. I'm internet challenged. I've used your the products forever. I'm a total believer. I've used the Bloomin' Mineral for over 25 years.
Wow.
I fed it to my chickens for meat. They grow like turkeys.
Right?
I'm a believer in the product. Here's my question for the doc. If you gave free choice to rabbits, can they digest it? Is basically the question.
If you give free choice?
Chicken scan.
What did you say, free choice? I don't know what that is.
Yes. Yeah, the rabbit's in the cage. He's got alfalfa pellets he's eating.
Oh, he can choose whatever he wants to choose.
If you set it off to the side as a mineral base,
that's a good question.
If they eat it, can they digest it? That's my question.
Dave, you know?
I don't know offhand. That's something I'll look into, but I don't know.
That would be a doc.
If you talk to him, I listen to you guys all the time, and
okay, we'll come back to you. I haven't talked to him for a while.
I'll hear it.
Doc's retired, so I haven't really talked to him in a while. But If next time
right,
I do talk to him,
I'll get in touch with Dave. Doc's the only guy that I'm telling you, I've fed it to meat chickens for 25 years. I've grown well over 2,000 birds in the last 25 years. Commercial. They're Cornish cross chickens. They just grow extremely fast. That's what I put in the freezer, and I've supplemented them with the bloomin' mineral. To you chicken guys out there that are listening, the stuff works. That's all there is to it.
Wow.
Experimented with plants and other things, and it works. It works on your body too.
Thank you for the call, Mac. I'll look into that. We'll look into it, and if you keep listening, we'll have an answer for you hopefully next week.
Thank you, Mac. Mac or Mac?
Mac.
Mac. Thank you, Mac. You know, Mac reminded me we never talked about eczema. So, and I don't want to digress too much, because I talked about the biologics for eczema. Essential fatty acids, your Ultimate EFA Plus, number 1. Healthy Star Pack, that would always help. Number two. And then number 3, Fucoid Z. Now, if you want to throw a few other things in, zinc is really important. The Ultimate Zinc will help you. And then, of course, the Ultimate Selenium is good for eczema. It's good for a lot of skin problems. Do you know Selsun Blue is selenium?
No.
Yes, sir.
Is it really?
Selenium sulfide, I believe. And then, did you know Head and Shoulders is zinc?
I did not, Ben.
There you go.
Wow, dude.
Look at all the things you learned.
831-479-1080. Someone says, hi, I got some creatine powder. Ooh. Excited to use it. It has calcium HMB in it, too. Do you know what that is and why the company would put those together?
Well, it's kind of a sneaky little trick to make their product more expensive, to make it stand out. Calcium's generic. Creatine is generic. Creatine is amazing stuff. When I was a young pharmacist, just maybe 8 years into my business, my first business, I started selling creatine in my pharmacy. I would buy 50-pound bags of it, and I would pack it into little 1-pound plastic bags, and I would drive around Boulder, Colorado, and sell bags of creatine. I would actually sell like a dozen at a time to gyms.
Wow.
And it was, nobody knew what it was at the time, and it was just a revolutionary molecule. And then all of a sudden, interestingly, some guy in Colorado who's a bodybuilder and a weightlifter, he got wind of the stuff and he started selling it. He started a company to sell creatine, and he got plugged in with the Denver Broncos. And this was I don't know if you follow football at all, but in 1997 or 1998 and 97 and 98, I believe it was, the Broncos became like the best team in football, and they won 2 Super Bowls in a row. And they were John Elway and Shannon Sharp, and they were, if you know football, you know these players. Yeah. And one of the guys was a friend of this gentleman who had the creatine company. The guy's name was Bill Phillips, and Bill was friends with Shannon Sharp, and he gave Shannon some creatine. And next thing you knew, all the Broncos were doing creatine. They won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. They attributed it to the creatine. And in fact, at the end of one of the Super Bowls, when they all pour champagne on each other's heads and they do the celebration in the locker room, Shannon Sharp wore a hat that said EAS on it, which was the name of Bill's company that he started. And EAS blew up, and they started selling a lot of creatine, and he ended up selling the company for hundreds of millions of dollars. And all it was creatine. He did a few other things after that, but all it was creatine. And the reason it was so successful is because creatine is amazing, and not just for athletes, and not just for bodybuilders, but for old people, and for people who are interested in cognitive health, brain health. Creatine even has skin health benefits. It is an absolutely fabulously important supplement. It's pretty darn cheap for what you're getting, but because it's generic, there are companies that will kind of make different types of creatine, and hydrolyzed creatine, special creatine for people who are worried about bloating, this, that, and the other. Apparently, this company whoever texted you is doing HMB with creatine. Calcium HMB is actually an interesting molecule. HMB stands for hydroxymethylbutyrate. and that is a bodybuilding or a ergogenic, as they say, an athlete's performance-enhancing supplement. And it's a really interesting molecule because, and this is something that you're going to hear about more and more in the coming months and years, it's a derivative of what may be the most under-recognized health molecule in the body that's important for the digestive system. It's been shown to help prevent colon cancer, which is an epidemic. It's important for brain health. It's important for cardiovascular health. It's important for the immune system. And this is a molecule that hardly anybody's heard about yet. But as I say, over the coming months and years, you will be hearing more about it. And this HMB is a derivative of that molecule. It's called butyrate, or sometimes butyric acid, basically the same thing. Butyrate or butyric acid. And this is a molecule that's made in the intestine by bacteria. And it has an incredibly, incredibly valuable role to play when it comes to intestinal health, particularly as for its protective benefits against colon cancer. Now, hydroxymethylbutyrate is a derivative of this butyric acid, and because it's such a good guy molecule, one of its benefits is it helps increase protein synthesis, reduce muscle damage, preserves lean muscle mass, not just for athletes but also for older folks. So if you want a creatine and you want a little bump up in the benefits of your creatine, get this, whatever this product is, and you'll get the HMB with it.
831-479-1080, 218-5726. A text here says, how much caffeine is in Rebound? Says 150 milligrams of green tea extract. But how much actual caffeine is that?
It's hard to say, but I would venture to say it's probably about 20 milligrams in a cup. Probably about 10%. That'd be 10 and 100, maybe probably 8% or so. If I had to guess, that's a total guess, but 150 milligrams, so maybe 12 milligrams, 10, 12 milligrams of caffeine, which isn't, it's not gonna make you lose it. It's not gonna affect your sleep. It's not gonna get you jittery or anything, but it just give you a little bump of caffeine. It's not the stimulant benefits or the energizing, we'll say, benefits of Rebound are not because of the green tea. It's not because of the caffeine. Yeah, there's a little bit, but it's mostly the electrolytes, and you will get a buzz from Rebound. It is really energizing. Have you ever done it?
I have, yes.
It's super energizing.
I prefer the tangy tangerine, though. I am a BTT guy.
Well. Yeah, me too.
831-479-1080. Craig is calling from Campbell. You're in the air, Craig.
What's up, Craig?
Yeah. Hi there, Ben.
Hey.
And Dave. Hey, big thank you to you guys. I mean, all this great free information. Seriously, every week on Monday.
And, you get even more if you go on our new website, right, Dave?
Sir, yes, sir.
We'll tell you about that in a minute. Go ahead, Craig.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to do that. Hey, that creatine, that must have gone well with the steroids with that football team.
No, we don't know that. No.
Yeah, we don't know that.
We don't know that.
But, yeah. Hey, I also really I got to compliment you on the shorts that I hear on KSCO, Ben, that you do. Those are excellent.
What do I do? What is it?
The shorts that.
Oh, the shorts. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know what you call them, but
they call them. What do they call them?
Health nuggets.
Health nuggets. Yeah, health nuggets. We're gonna do more of them. I think we did a few of them, didn't we, Dave?
Oh yeah, we've done quite a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do more.
Yeah, you really excel at those too. So you're all-around famous.
I'm an all-around great guy. Admit it.
Yeah. Hey. Okay.
Right, Dave?
Right. Ben.
Yeah. The health issue here is I tweaked my leg the other day, and it got numb. So I had stinging nettle back there. I've tried on other stuff, kind of worked a little bit. But when I did it on the numbness particularly, man, it took down that numbness right away. Yeah.
Did you put it on topically or you took it orally?
I get the plant, and I just rub. I don't even take the weed out of the ground. I just rub it. They're high, my weeds. And I just rubbed it on that numbness around my knee area. Man, it just took that.
Wow.
Next time I get numb anywhere, I'm gonna, it's free and no side effects. But let me tell you, I've got this wrist injury. I broke it. Old people hit me. I was on my bicycle and I landed on my wrist and fractured 2 places when I was 15. Now I'm 70. Okay. So the last several years is progressively getting more sore. I don't know if you call it arthritis, but this is a tough one. The stinging nettle it has an interesting effect, but it's like, this is really chronic from a long time ago. And that's another interesting question I want to ask you. Why it is when you get these injuries when you're a kid like that, they come back on you when you're old later, you know?
Yeah, you know, they don't heal so fast. You know why? Because God hates old people.
That's not true.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
I
kidding.
don't know.
No, I'm teasing. That's not real. But evolution hates old people. Because, you know, young people procreate. No, that's the whole game, is to make babies. And so as we get older, it becomes incumbent on us to willfully and intentionally and volitionally eat right, exercise, supplement, do all the good things. When you're younger, it doesn't matter.
I do all that, and it still it happens to everybody.
Do it more. You got to do it more. Yeah, well, there's going to be some entropy that kicks in that you're not going to be able to, you know, stave off, but you can slow it down. And that's the goal. It's not like you're not going to deteriorate eventually, but we don't want to do it dramatically. You want to do it at a slow pace. You know, there are people who run marathon races in their 90s. Do you ever see these pictures of weightlifters, people doing deadlifts when they're like 95 years old? The body is capable of a lot more than we know, or than most people know. We have so much more power and healing and regenerative capacity available to us at any age than most of us realize. And you can see that every once in a while by people who run races or who lift weights or do athletic performances. And I remember reading about a guy who ran up the Empire State Building 100 flights of stairs in his 90s. And this is what's available to us. We have set the bar so low on what is available in terms of health and longevity. And that's really what the point is. We're leaving health on the table. We're leaving joie de vivre, good life, on the table because we don't think we're capable of it. And I was kidding a little bit when I talk about old people and evolution, but really what that means is that when you're young, you know, and I'm sure you can relate to this, Craig, and Dave, you can relate to this, right? When you're a kid, you're in high school, you can, you know, go out drinking and smoke cigarettes and smoke whatever else and then go play football the next day, right? And go to practice hungover or whatever. You didn't even think about it. But then as the years go by, not so much. It's because when the body is young, it's primed. You can abuse it in all kinds of ways, and we do abuse it in all kinds of ways, and not have to pay anywhere near the price that you have to pay when you get older. When you get older, you've got to change the way you live. And so for you people out there listening who have never supplemented before, but now you're in your 50s, or your late 40s, or mid-50s, or whatever, and you say, well, I never did it before, I never had to do it. Now you have to do it. Now you got to pay much more attention to how you live your life because God hates old people. No, I'm just kidding. But evolution is designed to. Hey, I'm an old person. I can say that. Evolution is designed to protect the youth, because they're procreating. But as we get older, we got to do it ourselves.
So Ben, I've been avoiding ice ever since I heard Dr. David Biles,
love Dr. Biles,
Santa Cruz. Yeah, I told you the story how he didn't believe in icing. He's like about the only one I've ever heard. But I'm going to have to ice this down.
He doesn't believe in icing?
Yeah, remember I told you that?
I vaguely remember that. God. What's his thinking?
Yeah,
what's his thinking?
Yeah, he on his one of his programs when he was on KSCO, he said that you should heal more naturally, like ice.
I see. I can see what he's saying.
Yeah, I told you.
He probably means that the inflammatory process, which is suppressed with ice and cold temperature, that's important, and you may be preventing the body from healing by artificially reducing inflammation. I think that's what he might be talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do the whole. I know the icing's going to help. But, hey, old Doc Wallach is retired, huh?
Yeah, he's retired. He's enjoying the good life.
Get him, but he doesn't he do interviews like
I haven't heard him. You know, I'm not privy to anything with Dr. Wallach, but I haven't heard him. That's what I heard is that he's retired. That's all I know.
That's his company, though. He started the Longevity.
Oh, yeah.
He still owns it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he's sole owner?
Yeah, he's still, well, he's one of the owners. His son and his daughter-in-law now, they run it.
Wow, that's a big company. Wow, that's successful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay, you guys.
Thank you for the call, Craig. 831-479-1080. I believe Longevity is publicly traded. Ben. I think you could.
It was at one time.
Yeah, I don't know if
it still is.
I don't know either. 831-479-1080, 218-5726, kscodave@gmail.com. All right, Ben, let's see what Rory has to say. You're in the air, Rory.
What would the mineral whey be without a visit from Rory?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, Craig, if you're listening, careful if you get a case of the numb nuts. Don't be putting the nettles on that. That could be trouble.
Is he allowed to say that, Dave?
He just did.
He just did, okay.
Hey, I couldn't resist. I actually took a friend that was going to go on a backpacking trip in the high Sierras. He had never been backpacking. I took him into the San Gabriel Mountains, and there were stinging nettles, the tall plant. I go, hey, Dave, you see that? And he goes, yeah. I go up there and rub your arm on it. So he did.
Did he?
He's like, oh.
Rory.
Yeah, his name was Dave.
That is not good.
He's like, oh.
That's terrible.
That's stinging nettles. Don't forget that
sting.
plant.
Yes, they sting.
He's like,
they sting like little hypodermic
I go, you'll
needles.
never. Yeah, I said, you'll never forget. Yeah. Anyway, back
do you know
to
did you know stinging nettles contain histamine?
No. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the
It's anti-inflammatory that inflames you first, right?
Well, histamine is not anti-inflammatory. It's very
I know. It's antihistamine is the
antihistamine.
One that deflates. Yes. Yeah. No, it's interesting. Apparently there's some curative properties.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can talk about that. Real quick, on the the butyric acid, or butyrate, that butyric acid's in butter, right?
That's where you get the name
butter. Lots of butter.
Eat lots of butter.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
On the creatine, that was what I was angling at.
Okay.
I do remember you talking about that in the Broncos.
Do you remember that story?
Does longevity have a creatine? Well, I remember you talking about it because remember, and like Craig said, maybe the combo, the creatine and the anabolic steroids.
Maybe it wasn't,
But Shannon Sharp was a specimen.
He was a specimen. You know who else was a specimen? And he was a steroid specimen. And I knew him personally. And I'm telling you, this guy was like from some kind of science experiment. It was Bill Romanowski. That guy.
Oh yeah.
That guy was amazing. He lives out there in I think in San Francisco or somewhere out there. And now he's nowhere near. Now he's just a little guy. But back then, holy moly!
I know. I had a buddy that blew up on. He ended up being an MD, but man, he blew up on the anabolic steroids. I hadn't seen him for a year and a half. He worked out, and it's like, Jim, is that you? He went to med school, but he was kind of unstable mentally, psychologically.
Well, steroids don't help.
Him up.
Steroids don't help.
I'm talking 2-3 years later. He had anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I want to call about. The creatine. Does Longevity have a creatine?
They
Is
do
there
not
a
have a
brand
creatine.
that you recommend?
You know, it's so generic it doesn't really matter. It's just a generic molecule. It's very easy to produce.
What's it called? Okay.
Yeah, it's a
is
very simple
an
molecule.
amino acid? What is it?
It's a tripeptide. It's 3 amino acids together.
Okay. So it's 3 amino. Okay.
Yeah, it's a tripeptide. And then it comes in various forms, but just get generic hydrolyzed creatine, and it comes. I buy now NOW.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen
Staff
that,
of
right?
Life.
What's that?
Yeah, Watsonville has Staff of Life is like the first
probably
organic food store in Santa
they probably
Cruz.
carry now.
They have,
and then you can also
now.
use the amino. You can also use arginine. It's a tripeptide. It's made up of 3 amino acids. Arginine, which I call super amino acid because it's the most powerful of all the amino acids. Arginine, very important for building. And then another amino acid called methionine. Most people get methionine from meat. But then there's the third amino acid, which is called glycine, and that's available mostly from organ meats and from connective tissues, like Dr. Walt's pig pack. Glycine is in my opinion, it's the most underappreciated of all the amino acids because it's so small, but it plays so many roles in the body, including as a substrate or raw material for the production of creatine. So you can, if you want to use creatine, that's great, and then you can also support it by using arginine, glycine, and methionine as either individual amino acids or in high protein foods.
What is the one amino acid that really boosts your immune system? Like if you got, what was the long-term virus that you got, and a lot of people got it in college?
Lysine.
Lysine, there you go.
That's not necessarily immune boosting. That's more like
Mononucleosis.
that's more for as an antiviral, has antiviral properties, particularly for herpes, for shingles and herpes.
Yeah, or mononucleosis.
Probably. I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
No, that's great, and I appreciate the input on glutamine powder.
Glutamine's awesome too. Although, there's some folks out there, some docs who are saying not to do too much glutamine because it can feed tumors and cancers, but it's just for building muscle and as a component of glutathione, which is the body's most important antioxidant. It's just a fabulous amino acid. It also helps reduce sugar cravings. Glutamine does. Glutamine powder. So I personally take 5 grams 4 or 5 times a day, or 4 or 5 times a week of glutamine powder.
Wow, 4 or 5 times a day. That would be going nuts there, Ben.
4 or 5 times a week.
Thank you for the call, Rory.
Thanks, Rory. Good to talk to you, buddy.
831-479-1080.
Glutamine is also really important for the digestive system, for the intestine, I should say.
Okay. Well, Ben, we are just about out of time.
How does that happen?
I don't know, dude. It's this clock thing.
What's going on with our Mineral Way website?
Well, Ben, I hesitate, but I think we are ready to announce that we will be having a premium training course for anybody who wishes to sign on to that. It will be up probably by next week. I'm sure it'll be up and running.
So we'll have some good news next week.
We'll have some big news next week, yes, for our listeners.
Good
but right now, I'll just say, keep your ears open and be on the lookout because there is something big on the way over here. And we're excited about it, Ben. I'm excited.
Man, you put a lot of work into this thing.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Oh, you are welcome, Ben.
We all thank you for that.
That's the least we can do, Ben. That's what we're all about here, is helping people, and this is just one more tool for distributors and for even listeners, even just for your own self. It's something that you're going to find extremely helpful coming up in just about a week or so.
You don't have to be, we want you to be a distributor, but just for the health of your family, the health of your parents, or the health of your children, or your health. Yeah, there's a lot of good. That's one cool thing about Longevity. Everybody talks about the products, but we don't really talk about the information as much. And yeah, we give a lot of free information here, but when you sign up to join as a distributor, or you sign up to join or you engage in the company in any way, man, you are going to become a nutrition expert for your friends, and we want you to be one.
We do. Well, Ben, that is going to do it for this edition of The Mineral Way, but we will see you next week, yes?
Yes, sir. I'll look forward to it.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome, Ben. Thank you for joining us. You're joining us every Monday live at 5. If you have any questions, you can send them in by text message, 831-218-5726, email, kseodave@gmail.com, or call in again live at 5. If you're listening to this show and it is not Monday, 5 p.m., then it's probably a replay. But again, you can send your text messages or emails, and we'll get to them during the next live show. So again, thank you for joining us on this edition of The Mineral Way. We look forward to seeing you next time, and we are out of here.
Welcome to the annual Feline Fanciers Championship, where elegance meets excellence.
Do be careful, old chap. One must conserve one's energy for judging. Poise is everything.
Energy? I've got plenty. You want to chase the laser pointer later?
Absolutely not. I've already won 3 ribbons simply by standing.
Blue ribbons hang nearby as Sir Reginald Purrington and Zippy face the judges.
I used to feel stiff too. Then my human started sprinkling Arthrodex on my food. It tastes like beef and smells great. I think it's the best.
Arthrodex helps support movement and flexibility so cats can stay playful and active. And the winner is Zippy.
Zippy, but he moved.
Feeling good beats looking fancy.
Help your cat feel their best with Arthrodex. Get your paws on it at themineralway.com. That's themineralway.com. Arthrodex. It's the cat's meow.
Look, I know you're not trying to overhaul your life. You just want to feel decent, have enough energy to get through your day, and not make a big deal out of it. You don't want another project, another plan, or something you have to think about all the time. You just want something that fits in and doesn't get in the way. That's why Beyond Tangy Tangerine makes sense. It's easy. You work it into your day and move on. It comes in several formulas, so you can just pick what feels right and not overthink it. You can keep the 1-pound canister at home or use the travel packs when you're out. Whatever works for you. BTT supports energy without caffeine or drugs. No jitters, no crash. You just feel better during the day. It's not a big production. It's just one simple thing you do each day that can help you feel a little better, have a little more energy, and keep going without overthinking it. You can order it at themineralway.com. That's themineralway.com. Check it out today.
Issues and entertainment. That's AM 1080 KSCO.